Good evening, Toastmasters, our guests, and viewers at home. We are the Golden Speakers Toastmaster Club. We meet every Tuesday at 7:45 in the Hy-Vee Club Room. So we have a good meeting planned for tonight. I would like to invite our president, Jean Symington Craig.
Hey. Okay, so I better get
Here.
Greetings, and Ryan Miller is showing us what we should be doing with our devices right now, which is turning them off.
Yeah.
Turning them off. Good. Unless you have a really good ringtone song and you're expecting someone to call and you want us to hear it, that might be a reason to leave it on. It's not.
I got a ring.
Not yet. Greetings, everyone. As our lovely Sergeant at Arms mentioned, you are here at Golden Speakers Tuesday evening at the west side of the Hy-Vee store in the Hy-Vee Club Room. I'm finally getting that right. It's a club room, not the community room. It's all the same, though. I mean, it's all where we come together. At the end of the ice cream aisle. Looks like we have some guests here tonight. And we should probably introduce them. So let's just start with, and of course, I know who this is. What? Let's go ahead, sir, and have you tell us your name and what brought you here tonight.
Well,
Stand, you can stand.
Okay. My name is Hy-Vee Kumar. This is my mom. I came here because I was previously in our youth leadership program which is the youth YLP, youth leadership program, where we got to learn about how to communicate with people, different speaking techniques and table topics, and how to evaluate someone in different posture and different techniques to make us a better speaker. So I wanted to join you guys here today to witness the real stuff.
Okay. By the way, the Youth Leadership Program for Spring 2016 graduated last Wednesday at La Hacienda, Mexican restaurant. We had Raven in attendance, helping with timing and being a special guest. We had Rick Starr there. We had Dan Craig, always infallible cameraman and video processor. Helen was there. We had Andal, who has been completely invaluable for logistics and coordination and table topics throughout. The video of that is up now on the Golden Speakers Toastmasters 7515 on Facebook. You can go see it. If you happen to be a friend of mine, I mean, I'm saying specifically on Facebook, of course you're all friends, but if you're a friend of mine on Facebook also, I put it up this afternoon so all of my friends and the friends of their friends got to see it. It's really great. It is really fun. I was watching it for the second time today. It just makes me feel so good. The Helen, by the way, did phenomenal talk. That's all I can say. You got to get in there and see the Helen, if nothing else. Well, everybody was good. So, so where were we? We were on our guests. And sir, in the back, in the green polo shirt.
I'm still Zane. I've been here a few times as a
He's
guest.
still sane? Is that what he said? I don't think that's the case. But anyway, sorry.
For a few hours at a time, I'm sane. This man brought me here, inspired me. As always, Jean Symington Craig. Actually, she didn't inspire me as much as
Beat you.
barter, negotiate with me to be here. But it's always fun, and that's it.
Yes, and our guest that just came in at the very back.
Hi, my name is Victoria.
trying to find the commitment to go all the way. I'm getting there.
All right. Just in case you see that Santoria is going to be on the open mic at Cafe P some night, she is, and I didn't get a chance to see her because I couldn't be at the Yelp, that's the YLP Youth Leadership Program, affectionately called Yelp graduation, and her event last Wednesday night, but evidently she is quite,
She was excellent.
okay, so we had someone who was at the show, so that's saying, very funny.
Very funny.
Very fun. So that's all the more reason why. It's all the more reason. So those of you who are at home, Santoria, if you see her around town, make sure you catch her. Comedy Club Extraordinaire on its way. And of course, we'd love to have that in the club as well. I like to chuckle. I like laughing. Okay, so let's give Santoria. At the end of our meeting, we're going to talk a little bit more about our party coming up and do a little bit of organizing there. Now let's go ahead and introduce our Toastmaster for the evening, who will be our Master of Ceremonies for the show. The show, listen to me. See what you did, Santoria? We're in showbiz mode here. Okay, so she's going to be running the meeting. On up your step.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and viewers at home. I'm going to start the meeting with the quote: good, better, and best. Never let it rest till your good is better and your better is best. I'm going to introduce our role players for tonight. Our timer is Mr. Feng. Let's hear from him.
Good evening, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow members, and dear guests. And today it's my pleasure to be your timer today. And I will time your speech, the speakers of speeches, and table topics. For the speech, I will turn the light to green when it reaches 6 minutes. Yellow to when it reaches 7 minutes. Then red 8 minutes. For the table topics, it's 1 minute green and yellow 1.5 minutes. Red 2 minutes. And for the evaluator, the green is 2 minutes, yellow is 2.5 minutes, and red is 3 minutes. Yeah, that's my responsibility.
Let's hear from Bill, our grammarian tonight.
Thank you, Andal. My job as grammarian tonight is to pay attention to any especially colorful, enchanting, mesmerizing uses of the English language. This can be language that transports us to a magical land. It can be something that inspires us. It can be something even that causes us to dive into the darker aspects of the human psyche, as long as it's well said. That's what I'm looking for tonight. I also have the duty of giving you the word of the day, and the word of the day today is animus. It can mean hostility or ill feeling, or it can also mean the motivation to do something. So it's not necessarily a positive word, but it also can be used in a positive way. And I will give a report at the end of the meeting once it's up.
Maya is our commenter tonight. Let's hear from her.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Today I'm going to the AH counter, and my duty is to note any overused words or filler or sounds used as a crutch by anyone who speaks during the meeting, such as and, well fun, so as well as sound like I will note any use of the crutch or filler words mentioned above. Thank you.
General evaluator is Raven Garland, and greeter Pia. We will hear from them at the end of the meeting. Let's have Tabitha to read the objectives for our first speaker, Ryan. And let's have Tabitha now.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight I'm introducing Prana's speech. Prana Miller is currently employed at Green Iowa AmeriCorps as a volunteer coordinator, and he recently helped manage 100 tree planting at our MUM campus. He does hope to work in the solar industry one day to help reduce our carbon footprint. And tonight, it's his 14th speech on storytelling, and the objectives of the speech are to understand the techniques available to arouse emotion, to become skilled in arousing emotion while telling a story. Tonight's Prana speech is The Entrepreneurs Overcome Difficulty with Support of Nature.
Thanks, Tabitha. Yeah, so I guess this speech suggests that we sit in a circle. It's really not necessary, but if everyone's comfortable with it where they are, I think we'll just stay with that. So everyone's comfortable?
And sit.
You can either do a semicircle. Well, let's see. I don't think there's a. I could sit. Yeah, I can sit, but I think there's not room for a semicircle. So I'll just sit, and everyone hold your position. Alright. So let's see. Alright. So this is a story. There is a story that I'm going to introduce with some for background. So human nature is fairly stable. We have emotions, we have love, we have ambition, we have joy, we have service, and other things in human nature. Like, anyways, those are a few: service, joy, love, greed. So in the 80s, 1980s, there was the crime rates were at there's a chart. If you can imagine a chart with crime rates. This just starts down here, it's going up, and crime rate was at an all-time high for the past 50 years, maybe. So there might have been some collective consciousness, as Maharishi said, collective consciousness, and basically Maharishi said is collective consciousness is at what's the word? If people are happy and not stressed, then the stock market will go up. So the stock market goes up, people are happy. If the stock market is going down, it thinks the consciousness of the nation is at a good place. So this is like taken out of the context of one Maharishi video I saw. So you can look it up on YouTube. But anyway, so that weaves into my story. The story is two characters. We have Jason, who will be represented by Tyler will be represented while I'm wearing this hat, and Jason is just when I don't have the hat on. So these are the two characters. Okay, so Jason is a stock operator. He works on the stock market, and he trades stocks, money, $100,000 in his account. He's a big deal stock trader. And Tyler he's his business partner. He works in another field, let's just say the construction or just some labor job. He doesn't really work in the finance industry. So one day, Jason calls up Tyler, and Jason says, "Did you check the markets this morning? The stock market went down 23% today, and the year is 1987. So 1987, everyone was just, for whatever reason, panicked, and the stock market just tanked. Just one day, 23% it went down. So Jason is, he calls him up and says, Tyler, I've lost I've lost nearly 3/4 of my position. How you doing? And Tyler says, oh, I don't pay attention to finance much. I'm just kind of, out in the fields. I don't care about finance. And then Jason, oh man, how's everything? And Tyler, oh well, I am a little bit broke. I might need to, thinking about robbing a bank. So I need some money. I gotta pay these bills. And Jason says, no, I don't think that's a good idea. You should just don't do anything I would do. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Just stay cool. You'll get through it. So a couple of years go by, and Jason is hanging out in the fields doing his construction work, and he's just like, man, this is good work. I got a job, and he gets a phone call from a new employer. He gets an even better job. Life is going good. He's making more money. He's got a new apartment offer for this really great apartment. It's this huge mansion. You can imagine just like, it's like a mansion like on B Street. So it's like that, but it's an apartment. And it's this great mansion. He said, I'm loving this, just making money, things are good. He totally forgot about robbing the bank. Just totally forgot about it. So, how am I doing on time? Am I good? Good. So, basically, this story is, I created it, it's made up, but the point of the story is around 1990, there was a lot of panicking in the markets. People were selling their stocks. They were like, crime was high in the nation, and in 1993 there was a study for the World Peace Group. Basically, the World Peace Group said, we're going to hire 6,000 people or 4,000 people to meditate, fly, siddhas, and they were going to reduce crime levels, and it actually worked. The study was, crime went down 23%, which is no connection to the stock market, 23%, kind of interesting. Crime went down 23% in 2 months, I believe, in Washington, D.C. So, I guess although things like greed and people's desire to make more money and they gotta be ambitious, and Jason was gonna rob that bank, but he decided to he just kind of forgot about it. So there might have been some coherence at that time for Jason and others that was generated by the World Peace Group. So has anybody heard of that study, the World Peace Study, 1993? So crime went down 23% in 2 months. So I think that's pretty fascinating. And I don't know, it's kind of the story, like I said, it's totally made up. It's based on real events that occurred. And so the moral of the story is, if you find yourself in a difficult situation, you can overcome it, and there might be some mysterious force in the background helping you through it. So that's the quirky tale of the two business entrepreneurs that overcame a difficult situation. Thanks for listening. Do you want the chair left up there, Dan? Thanks. Not all. 2 minutes.
Let's take 2 minutes. The timer can time 2 minutes. Okay. Let's have the pen down. Our evaluator for Dan's speech for tonight is Bill Burns, and he will read the objectives for Dan's speech.
Toastmasters, honored distinguished guests, and viewers at home. Tonight, Dan is doing project number 4 from the storytelling manual. I know already. His objective is to understand the emotions and techniques available to arouse emotion in his audience, to become skilled in arousing emotions when telling a story. And tonight his talk will be from 6 to 8 minutes. Dan Craig has been a member of Toastmasters since 2011. He was born and raised in the West Texas town of Pampa, located right next to the center of the Texas Panhandle. Tonight he will be recalling for you an episode from his youth when he had an early experience of speaking before a group at the Robert E. Lee Junior High School. The school was named in honor of a Confederate war hero, and its mascot was the rebel. In the 8 years after the story, about the time Dan graduated from college, the town finally renamed its school to something more appropriate for the changing times. Please join me in warmly welcoming Dan Craig.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, viewers at home. In the spring of 1965, I was 14 years old. I was an 8th grade student at Robert E. Lee Junior High in Pampa, Texas. I was a shy kid. I read a lot of books, I watched a lot of TV, but I did also play baseball and football. I was not very social. I was not a popular kid. But I had some friends among the small groups of my neighborhood and my church, my sports teams. In those smaller situations, I was sometimes asked to be a leader. I was a captain of my baseball team. I was the president of my Sunday school class. And in that same fashion, I was elected to be the president of my homeroom at school. That was the beginning of my problem, related to the election that year of the mayor of the school, which is what the junior high called the student body president. Every spring, they'd have an election among a group of 8th graders to be the mayor when they were a 9th grader the following year to head the student council. So as a homeroom president, I was attending a student council meeting. They were taking nominations for the office of mayor. The person in charge said to me, "Dan, would you like to run for mayor?" And I said something like, okay. And I was in. I thought to myself, what just happened? But I was shy and a little awkward, and I just didn't know how to back out of it. So I was stuck. Later on, I was telling people, I'm not really interested in running for mayor, but then a girl in my class came up to me and kind of called me on it and said, do you want to be mayor or not? I said, oh, yes, I do. It was a total lie. But I was on some sort of treadmill, and off I went. After I agreed to run for mayor, I found out that the campaign was the last 2 weeks. At the end of that was going to be the speech in front of the student body. We had a big school. It was 3 grades, 7th, 8th, 9th, almost 600 kids. I had this growing feeling of dread as those 2 weeks went by. It was kind of like the night before your icebreaker in Toastmasters, but it went on and on and on. What I discovered was that whereas I had spoken in front of my class, giving a book report or something like this, it was going to be up on a stage at a lectern with a microphone. I shudder to think of this even now. They assigned me a campaign manager. His name was Jean Key. Jean said to me, Dan, I've got a great line for my speech. I'm going to say, In thinking about Dan's many great qualities, I feel like a mosquito in a nudist colony. I just don't know where to start. He was a funny guy, but of course the teachers censored that line. It never got heard. As far as my speech, my dad came to my rescue. He wrote a speech for me. I remember that it had 3 planks to my platform. And I believe it was the day before the big event, the 5 candidates practiced their speeches for the school speech teacher, and she praised my organization. Finally, something to make me feel a little bit better. That night, I was participating in a baseball game, a youth league baseball game, which ordinarily should have ended about 9:30, something like that, but we hit extra innings. We were tied, so we kept playing and playing and playing, and the game ran until almost midnight. So the next day I arrived at school just totally blasted tired. I was kind of feeling otherworldly. It was good in a way because it took a little bit of the edge off my feeling of nervousness as the assembly approached. At the assembly, the campaign managers were each going to give a short speech and introduce their candidate who spoke in turn. At this point, I'm sitting on the stage. I'm hardly hearing a word that's being spoken. The panic is rising and rising. I'm waiting and waiting for my turn to stand up. Finally, Jean is finishing his talk and he's introducing me. And I remember feeling that as I walked to that lectern, my feet weren't actually attached to my body. It was good that it was one of those full-size lecterns with the mic on top. It was good that it was there because my knees were really shaking, so the crowd didn't get to see it so much. The people behind me were probably laughing. The 9th graders sat in the center section, and right in the middle of the first row was the outgoing mayor. He was a big football player named Doc. This was one of those kids who at 15 was fully grown. I felt a little puny standing up there in front of him. I was a football player too, but I was 5 feet tall, less than 100 pounds at that age. My dad had written a joke into the speech that went something like this. We're playing this town called Perryton. They had a super big and fast player named Larry Shagoda who just ran all over us. And in the story, my dad's over on the sideline saying, "Let Craig have the ball." And then he'd yell again, "Let Craig have it." Finally, our quarterback runs over and says, "Mr. Craig, he doesn't want it." I actually got a little laugh. And then I wrapped up the speech by saying, "I didn't want the ball that day, but I want to carry the ball for you next year as your mayor." So then I went back and sat in my chair, collapsed. It was over. I wish I could tell you that that was the day where I stepped up. I began my career as a great orator. I wish I could tell you that I won the election. All the kids came up to me and said, "I voted for you, Dan, because you had an organized speech." But I can't tell you that. As I said before, I was not a popular kid. I had no name recognition other than the few kids that I actually knew. Nobody voted for me. I lost in a landslide. The speech also wasn't great. One of my football buddies afterwards came up and told me that as I was speaking, my voice was shaking. So that gave me one more degree of feeling awful about the whole thing after I heard that. I'm not saying that this junior high stress was what caused it. Pretty much for the next 50 years, I avoided speaking in front of a group unless it absolutely had to be done. Until I finally joined Toastmasters and started to speak on purpose. Got a few tools, and now I can actually stand in front of a group and feel mostly okay. I wish that in 1965 there had been a Toastmasters youth leadership program, because I think I would have had a much different experience that year when I ran for mayor. Thank you.
let's hear from our timer if both the speakers qualify.
Both of them qualify.
Okay. It's time to vote for the best speaker. I would like to invite our general evaluator, Raymond Garland.
Hello, everyone. My role at the moment is to invite the evaluators to come up and evaluate the two speeches that we just heard. So first, I would like to invite Tabitha Sedgwick, who will be evaluating Ryan Prana-Miller's speech.
Good evening, Toastmasters, guests, viewers at home. I will just read the questions to evaluate prana, and then I'll answer them. What emotions did you experience as the speaker told the story? How did the speaker use descriptive words and phrases to evoke emotion? So I wasn't terribly evoked with emotion, and that's okay. But where you did kind of get me going was at the end when you were talking about in the 90s and the panic that was happening and how high crime was, and then finishing up with maybe there's some magical, mysterious things happening almost at any time that we don't know about. How did the speaker use dialogue to evoke emotion? When you actually sat down and you were having the dialogue with the characters, that was nice going back and forth and having to distinguish the characters. In that little section, maybe you didn't have to tell us the names of the characters, just kind of embody that character a little more, would have given it some oomph. Did the story contain the basic elements of setting, character, plot, conflict, and action? If not, which were missing? How did this affect the story? I appreciated how you gave us some facts and details about the characters and some backstory about what, the setting we were looking at. I think that if it were built up a little bit more and structured a little bit better, we could have followed that. And I guess organization would have been missing. Were the characters well developed? Did the speaker use description and dialogue to give them life? You did. You actually even had a prop, and so that was nice. So same comments about that. How was the story developed? Was the point of the story clear? I think that you made the point of the story clear for us, and that was nice. Us being able to follow that point all the way through would have been helpful. How did the speaker build to a powerful climax? You did arouse us with the kind of things that were going on, but again, I think with putting that earlier on, it would have helped with an exciting climax. Thank you.
Burns to come up and we'll hear the evaluation of Dan's speech.
Thank you, Raven. I will be reading from the manual today on Dan's speech, which is always helpful for both company communicator speeches and also for advanced speeches. It could be something that as advanced as this. What emotions did I experience as the speaker told his story? I feel Dan did a really good job of expressing how he was feeling. I felt nervous when he was talking about his knees tapping together behind the lectern. I can relate to that feeling of being tired and almost feeling like you're having an outer worldly experience being somewhere else because you're just so doggone tired. And the desire to impress, to not really want to do something, but when a pretty girl at school really tests your commitment, you have to step up and say, of course I'll do it. Are you crazy? Wouldn't think of doing anything else. Did the story contain the basic elements of setting, characters, plot, conflict, and action? I feel like Dan's speech did have all these elements. He set the setting. He was in a large school about to give one of the most powerful speeches of his life. He set up some of the side characters, his friend, his dad a little bit, and his character of Doc, who at 15 was already fully grown. I could just imagine this large, imposing character. I feel like, there also was a fair amount of conflict. Was he going to do it at first? Was he not going to do it? And he stepped right into it to do it. And he was in a really challenging situation where he was up against the school. He didn't have a lot of support, but he still did it anyway despite his challenges. So they all were there. There was none missing that I noticed. If I had a suggestion, I'm going to get to that in a minute here. How was the story developed? Was the point of the story clear? Now this is where I have a suggestion for Dan, because I feel that the introduction is a perfect place to set up the speech, to build some anticipation, build some sense of what's coming. And just from the introduction that I gave, actually here's the evaluator, I was anticipating an element of the story involving the renaming of the school from Robert E. Lee to whatever it is now. And the mascot changing from the rebel to whatever, the horned toad, the long mark. And so my suggestion would be to focus on, in the introduction, talk about this experience a little bit. But I felt like Dan built to a very powerful and timely climax. The importance of having the power of leadership, being confident speaking, both young and old. Thank you, Dan.
We have now come to one of the most fun parts of our meeting, the table topics, where we get to hear impromptu speeches for both sorry, I have forgotten something. So anyway, impromptu speeches, and Mahesh will be leading this part of the meeting.
Thank you, Revan. I'm the Toastmaster table topic master for the day, and the main role of the table topic is to make sure that the audience comes forward and speak who never really got a chance and who are really animals to speak something. Okay. So by the way, animals is the word of the day, and we highly encourage the speaker to use the word of the day on our table topic. So on our table topic, today's table topic going to be focusing on the chains. All the questions are going to be on the chains. So so we'd like to invite someone who wants to come forward, some audience who wants to come forward and have a table topic. Anyone from the audience? Okay. Okay. From question number 1 to question number 5, you can choose one question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shall I choose?
Yeah.
Okay.
Four. Okay. So one of the best questions. So I would like to ask you, if you could give an opinion, how would an extra $1,000 a month could change your life?
Okay, extra $100,000 a month.
Yeah. Okay. You can take like 40 seconds.
Every month.
Yeah.
Money is a magical thing. It has the power to corrupt us at some of the deepest levels. And we see some of the greatest levels of human depravity come in pursuit of money and power. But it also has an incredible tool, an incredible ability to uplift us, to give us the freedom to pursue what we truly desire. What would I do with $100,000 a month? I don't know, but I had the freedom to choose. Perhaps I would take up painting, express my artistic side. In my profession, I am very analytical. I do a lot of organizing, a lot of planning, a lot of analytics. So with $100,000 coming in every month, I would lay back, I would go outside, I'd walk, I'd feel inspired, I would dance. As I think about the question a little bit more, I wonder what really changes. Would my relationship with my fiancée, soon-to-be wife, would it change? Hopefully not in any meaningful way. I could probably buy better dog food for our pets. And we could probably eat out more, maybe take a trip to Europe, go on the beach, enjoy the ancient sites throughout the world. But ultimately, all of this, I feel, would be empty without somebody to share it with, like her, and without friends to talk to and dance with. Thank you.
Thank you, Will. It was really amazing speech. So I'd like to invite one more volunteer from the audience who would like to come forward. Yeah. So from question number 1 to question number 5, question number 4 is already taken. You can choose any one question.
3.
Okay. So this is also one of the best questions I've heard. So what is the number 1 change you need to make in your life in the next 12 months?
The number one change that I need to make in the next 12 months is definitely time management. For a person that's going into high school, 9th grade, freshman, it's going to be very tough, especially for someone that doesn't have time management. Just one more episode, one more season, one more show to watch, it keeps piling up. And I can speak from experience, like any teenager would. And I bet some of you too. But time management is very important because it can help you advance in life as a better person in general, and also help me get my work done on time, which I do, but especially when I'm going to high school, I have 3 college classes I'm taking, so it's going to be pretty hard to keep up with my professors and their grading standards. So time management is very important. In the next 12 months, hopefully, time management will help me become a better student, keep me on top of things, and hopefully will make me a better person, like I said before. Another thing that I think would definitely change me that I can have in the next 12 months would definitely be courage. Courage to do more. Since in middle school you weren't exposed to a lot of things, I feel the environment really traps you into this little boundary that shows that you can't do as much. And with our little community, which can accomplish a lot, I feel that there aren't a lot of opportunities open to us. And as our teacher was talking to us last week, which was last day of school, she was talking about courage and everyone needing courage to succeed in life. Not only do you need all these other traits like time management and all those other things. YOLO.
Thank you So that was really a very good speech. I really loved the one. I also need to improve my time management as well. And Zane knows, like, I need to improve the time management as well. Thank you so much. Okay, so we had our second table topics, and we want one more volunteer. And let's see if we have some time, we can invite one more volunteer as well. So I want someone to come forward and yeah, a couple more. Yeah, we have like we have a lot of time. Yeah. Okay, I have 3 questions left, so you can choose from question number 1 or question number 2 or question number 5. So number 1. Okay, that's the third best question. Okay, this as I've told you, it is all about the change, and the question is, what is the biggest change you have made in your life in the last year? Do you want me to repeat the question?
The biggest change I've made in the past 12 months is going back on my word. I told my mom, I told my dad, I told my friends, I told dogs, I told cats I would never, ever, ever remarry. And I did. And it was so easy, which is what made it so sad. I mean, I think what kind of got me was the working for a little money, and then thinking I could just get married and quadruple my income. And my husband's already accepted that I'm not that good a housewife. Though I'm not bad, I wouldn't say I'm bad, I'm not that good, but even him, that was a huge mistake because he married me once, so he should know better. But he decided to do it again. So, going back on your word like that, I've had to eat a lot of dirt because a lot of people have been like, oh, thought you weren't going to remarry him. And all I can think is that, you know, if you dated some of the people that I've been dating, you would have done the same. So I can't say that in the long term, I went back on my word, but it was the best choice for me. I love being remarried. It's just, you kind of know where all the minefields are, you know all the mistakes you made. The only difference is now you don't care. Just do what you want to do, have fun, and be happy. Thank you.
So we need one more volunteers as well. Anyone wants to volunteer? Like, do I have to choose? All right.
I'll do it.
Yes. Okay, so which question do you want to choose? Like from question number 2 or question number 5? Or I can give like some special question if you want. Question 5. As I previously said, it is all about the change. Okay. So what is the quick decision you once made that changed your life?
Yeah, thanks a lot. All right. So, that's tricky.
Let it go all the way to me.
All right.
Don't sit.
You ready? Let's do this thing. Hit it. Okay. quickest decision I ever made that changed my life. Well, which phase of my life are we talking about? Elementary school, because I made a lot of rash decisions there. Was it when at MUM as an undergrad in the art department, you talk about a ripe environment for rash decisions? The art department. Probably some of the most impulsive people you'll ever meet. Creative, energetic, courageous, really poor time management though. They were, when they locked on, they were focused on that and nothing else to the oblivion of all around them, which delivered some fantastic results and some outstanding parties, which we cannot discuss, in buildings that no longer exist. I'm talking particularly about the pods. Some of you have heard about them? Seen them? I've lived in them. They were outstanding. They were a ripe environment for rash decisions, such as get out of the pods now. Because in one pod that I lived in, it was known as the pink flamingo pod. We have no clue as to why we decided on that. Now I've got the yellow. I've got a flickering. Is that a yellow or a green? That's a yellow. I have a rash decision to make right here. I'm going to tell you about a true story in the pink flamingo pod. The people have since gone on. They have their degrees. They're married. They have families. One weekend we decided to have a party. And besides 2 live bands, classic garage grunge bands, of which they worked with red lights, and we filled the shower downstairs with ice and water. We blocked off the shower door so that you could swim in it, and we loaded it up with beer. And when the dean of students came to see how's it going, mingle with the people, it's all beautiful, we made sure he did not go downstairs. That's it. After that party, I left the pod. Thank you.
Thank you, Zane. Toastmaster, can we take one more question from the audience, or are we out of the time?
We're gonna do one more.
Okay, we're gonna do one more. Okay, I need one more question. The last one. Who's gonna be the last one?
Anybody jump?
Pia.
Pia.
I can
Okay.
go. I think you got it.
Yeah.
So I've got the only one question. You don't have any option. Okay. The question is, what is the one thing you would most like to change about the world?
There are insurmountable things I would change about the world. But the first thing that came to my mind was that I would be in Europe right now. And I had a conversation with some friends about this the other day, and they're not from the United States, and I am, and we were talking about traveling and what that does to you and your perspective, and in that they mentioned how they recognized the good things about their own country when they left it, essentially. And I was like, well, then I gotta leave because I don't do that much great stuff right now. And this particular wish to change the world is moving myself on like the face of the planet, which is not that big a deal in the grand scheme of things, but I feel like when we all do the things that we really have our hearts set on, it brings us to a better place within ourselves, and we can become better catalysts for change that way. So I think if we all did the things that we really have our hearts set on, which could be traveling or other things, we could change the world, and that is a mechanism to see the things that we want to see change. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Mr. Timer, if you could tell us the report, like which of the tabletop speaker qualified for the evening?
Yeah, all the two topics speakers qualified.
Your names,
First one, Will. And our brave boy, sorry, what's your name?
Healing.
Healing. And Century. And our guest, sorry. Zane. Yeah. Zane. And Pierre, all of them are qualified.
Thank you. Okay, I do understand that there were like 5 excellent tabletop speakers, but it's now a tough decision. We have to make a choice between among 5 speakers, who is the best one. So if you could vote for the best tabletop speakers. Okay, now I would like to invite Jean Symington Craig, who is the tabletop evaluator for the evening, to evaluate the topics. Yo. It's 10 to 9.
Let's go up more time.
Oh, because I have 5 people. So 2 to 3, or 2 to 3. Fellow Toastmasters, guests, viewers at home. I'm gonna confess right off the bat, I'm a little off my game. I did a dance move last week that did not go well, and my head doesn't turn this way. And I'm walking around a little bit with a spike up my back. This is my way of saying I completely spaced out that I was doing the evaluation through Will, and then especially through Healing, because of course my heart is pounding because he's in my youth leadership program, and I'm just, I don't want to miss a single word on that. But then I remembered, and I got back into the game. But I am going to mention, Will did the 100,000 K, and he did a good job. He talked about his options. He started to get a little more granular as he got into it, started to really think about it. I can't remember, Will, other than I was fantasizing myself on what I would be doing with $100,000. Sounded sweet. I'll try to think. Healing I remembered enough. So his question was what he was going to change in the next 12 months. And his talk was about time management. And he's right away, he said, what I would change in the next 12 months would be my time management. So he's really reinforcing the question, and he's giving that out to us. And then he starts to lay out the reasons why he would change it, how it would affect him, and that was all really good. And what I would say to Healing as a suggestion would be done with time management. Because once he started to think about it, well, another thing I'd like to talk about is courage. That got him into trouble with being over time. He couldn't really do the topic justice. It's a great topic, but that would maybe be another table topic. So you just want to be careful about having these sort of dribbling add-ons that get you into trouble. Santoria, the biggest change in the last year, lots of humor. I love some of her lines. Her husband married her, but he should have known better. Remarried her, should have known better because he already knew what he was getting. That's interesting. Also, she said, you know where the minefields are, and you don't care now because you already know where they are. There's no surprises. Got me thinking. I am married. I'd have to get unmarried, and then I'd have to get remarried again. But you made your case. I thought it was a good case. I'd have to think a little bit about it. I think a little more eye contact in terms of she's thinking, and it is hard to do table topics and do eye contact both, but if you can zoom in on some of your ideas and to land them with a person in the audience, move around, get in like that, you can really make your connections with your audience, and Centaurea is all about that. Zane, quick decision that changed his life. He clarified the question. Like I said, he said, well, now what do you eat? Or we talking about what time frame? And he started to show this is a complicated question. But once he got his traction going about the art department and the MUM and all of that, Zane is a master. He always gets me laughing, as you can hear me. Here, he would just need to get, my suggestion to him, just get a little acclimated to the format so he didn't run out of time. It was great. And then Pia wants something to change the world. What would be the one thing? She had a great thing. Do what we do have in our hearts and get going. I would say a suggestion for her would be the and, linking a lot of sentences with and. Just, come on. Oh, you get 30 seconds after the 30 seconds. Could I do that? Okay, that's it.
Nice work.
That's it. I mean, I did 5 in the normal standard
Yeah.
routine thing.
Yeah, 5 was 5.
I mean, that's the challenge. No, I'm done. I'm just taking presidential prerogative here to make a comment. That's all I'm
Using her
doing.
authority.
All right, so now who comes up? Those are tough.
You did great
My
considering.
neck is spasming just at the nastiness. This whole thing. The animus that you are directing at me is causing my body to seize up. All right, who's up now? Okay, oh yes. Timer.
Jean.
Yes.
Could we please take a moment to vote for the best evaluator, including the table
Yeah.
topics?
Yeah, but she didn't qualify.
If she qualified, could you please tell us who qualified of the 3 evaluators?
Travis and Will, both of them qualified.
So we'll now take a moment to vote for the best evaluator. Fellow Toastmasters, Madam President, viewers at home, and guests, it's now my task to evaluate the evaluators of the evening. As soon as Jean, Ms. President,
Just do the roles first.
I do the roles first.
With your agenda. You do the reports first, and then you do some.
Oh, thank you.
It's a common mistake.
Okay, so first, can we please hear from the timer? Can we have your report?
Here is the daily timer's report. For the speeches, Brenna used 6 minutes and 51 seconds, Dan 8 minutes and 3 seconds. For table topics, we will use 1 minute 41 seconds. Ahalan 2 minutes 15 seconds. Centaurea exactly 2 minutes. Then 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Pia 1 minute and 45 seconds. And for the evaluator, this used 2 minutes and 25 seconds. Will 3 minutes 19 seconds. And Jean over time. That's all.
How much was it? Bad news.
I stopped at 3:44, 3 minutes and 44 seconds.
We'll hear from our grammarian, Will Burns.
Thank you, ladies. First, a show of hands. Who used the word of the day? Jean, I got you. Thank you, Jean, for using the word of the day. You're making me feel some sense of accomplishment and animus in a positive way to actually write these things on the board.
Yes.
Now, to the particularly colorful turns of phrase, I liked Dan's expression that he felt like a mosquito in a nudist colony with no idea where to start. Centaurea, I thought, did a fabulous job of revealing characteristics of her story just by piece and kind of building this sort of sense. I got a much better sense of Santori after hearing her table topics. And I missed, unfortunately, a lot of things because they kind of snuck up on me and then were passed. But what I did catch was if you had dated some of the people I had, you would have understood why I remarried. And I like Zane when he said that he was locked on to the oblivion of the art department. Paraphrasing slightly. But it was definitely a ripe environment for rash decisions at the Pink Flamingo Pond.
Thank you, Will. And now we'll hear from the awe counter of Maya.
Masters and guests, here's my report for our counting. Jean has 1 arm, Tabitha has 1 arm, and Ryan has 4 arms, 1 through 1 butt, 1 end. And Mahesh has 2 arms and 2 arms. Pia has 1 arm, 3 ends. That's all, thank you.
Maya. Our joke master, Pia, will now make us laugh.
I'd like to tell you a short story of something that happened just the other day. I was talking with a gentleman who was at one of my events and my teammate Robert, and we were talking about architecture, particularly in regards to like feng shui, where we talk about how energy moves throughout the building. And yeah, Prana is on my team and he knows about this. And it's relevant because we were talking about Chi, and Chi is also the name of someone in our group. And Chi and Prana share the same name meaning, which is life force, which is talked about in the context of feng shui and how that moves around the building. And my teammate Robert had a really interesting philosophy that he had heard, which was that there should be, in this particular philosophy tradition, there should be no right angles in particular buildings, or in buildings, because Chi or Prana gets stuck in the corner.
Now, it's my task to evaluate the evaluators. At some Toastmasters meetings, the general evaluator evaluates the whole meeting. But here, our tradition is to evaluate the evaluators, because when you do evaluate, you're also giving a type of speech. Tabitha, I believe this was your first round at being an evaluator. I noticed that you greeted everyone, which was really nice. It kind of brought us in that it was not just for the speaker that you were evaluating, but for everyone. You brought out a lot of good points. You used the manual, and you had quite a few suggestions. One was that Prana could have acted out a little bit more the characters. I would have the same suggestion for you, that you could have said, for instance, you could say, so Tyler, something, something, well, I don't know if you should rob the bank. That kind of thing. As an evaluator, we can also make our speeches more interesting by the same suggestions that we would give to any other speaker. For instance, also coming out from behind the podium is useful, and it's good practice for us to not have the protection of the podium. Will, you also used the manual, and you did act out some of the things, the shaking knees, and you also shared how the story did move you and how you could really relate, for instance, to the shaking knees. You also brought some more, you kind of enhanced the story that Dan told by making some points about some of the things he said. The one that I remember that I think everybody laughed at was the power of a pretty girl to motivate, to animate, or animus. So I didn't really have a suggestion for you. Jean,
about your dance moves, and don't dance like Jean. Dance like Will. No, I'm only kidding. Jean is a great dancer. I've seen her dance many times, and I hope she gets better quickly. One thing that Jean did was, even though she had forgotten that she had the role, you can tell that she has practiced listening a lot, because she was able to remember and remind us of the content of each one of the table topic speakers. And she gave suggestions that weren't only useful to the particular speaker. I felt like she gave suggestions that we can all use. For instance, not tacking on one more thing at the end of your speech when you've made a point and you can round it out, to just let it go. Eye contact with everyone is another suggestion that Jean gave. And leaving out the filler words. I will now invite Jean to come back up here. No, actually, Andal, our Toastmaster.
Thank you, Ruben. It's time to celebrate the award ceremony. Let's have the drum roll for the best speaker. And the best speaker for tonight is Mr. Dan Craig. Let's get a drum roll for best table topic. Best table topic speaker tonight is Santoria. Pretty well. Just let's hear it for Mr. Melbourne. I'd like to invite Jean, our president, for closing comments.
We have a little time here, very good. Did you have a good time?
Yeah.
Everybody's here? It's a good time? Those of you, okay, Will has a trophy, right? Do you ever take that to work? Put it on your desk? Have people say, what is that? And then,
I can now, Jean, now that I have this trophy.
yes, yeah, that is the idea. Remember, now Santoria, we're gonna take yours back. Don't feel bad. But that's the idea, is that members, you put these, and when you're a member, and then we'll, do it. But when you're a member, you take this, you put it out where if you work, where people are, and then they just ask you, well, what did you win? What is that? And then that's the way you have that conversation, and you can invite someone really easily. You can also just say, hey, come listen to me the next time, or just come. And so that's good. But you have to bring the trophy back. You do have trophies that tend to, I don't know, they make their escape somehow when they get out there. But we need to, let me see. I can tell you. We need to plan our party for the 28th. We are 2 weeks away. We also need to just touch base really quickly with the guests. Maybe we'll touch base with the guests first. So, Helen, what's one thing that you liked about the meeting? You can stand and tell us one thing you liked about the meeting.
I liked how everyone had something to say and no one was really scared to come up, had courage. So that was nice to see here. So
Good,
those were
very good. takes courage to come up in front of a group of people and talk to them, because you just don't know what they're thinking. On the outside, they're smiling, but on the inside, you don't know if they're thinking, go away, please, just go away. Don't even try. I mean, you don't know what they're doing. And usually it's your worst scenario. And if Dan has that 8th grade trauma that carried through his entire life until he, met me. Made it much worse. No, actually got him into Toastmasters, and there you go. But so it's a good thing, and we always invite people to come up here and break all those crusty bits of, I don't want to say cowardice, because I don't want you to feel bad, but that lack of courage, and help it come out. So thank you for talking about that, Helen. That was really good. Very common for all of us. Mr. Zane.
Yes.
I know it's after 9, and you told me, the pumpkin syndrome has. You have to just keep it
No,
really
I'm hanging
simple.
on by a thread.
I know, just a threat. Well, okay, so one thing you liked about the meeting?
The one thing I like to have to stand. Can I sit?
Just to push
Is it
the
good?
envelope a little
Okay.
bit. Like stand.
Oh, stand?
Just it'll actually, the blood flows a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Colors.
Yeah.
All 4. I liked the positive encouragement and the support. I find that very refreshing, and it's so well organized. I like that a lot.
Okay. All right. And Santoria.
I guess what I enjoyed the most was watching Hyland speak. I don't know, when you see young people doing things, like, it just makes me feel like I can retire, like, I'm done, you can take over.
Ah.
It's really nice to see.
Okay, well, very good. Santoria, you've got to go to the Facebook page that's Golden Speakers Toastmasters, because the video is up of the graduation last week. You'll just love it. You'll see one, what do we want to call you? Are you a young person?
Yeah.
Okay. One young person after another. You got to be politically correct with age things too. And you'll enjoy it. Everybody, it's really enjoyable. Well, thank you, Santoria. All right. I'm trying to decide if I want to end the meeting but have everybody stay in place but let the visitors kind of move, because we do need to talk about our party. We could just start talking about it. Guys, we have a party in... Talk about quick decisions. We have a party in 2 weeks. We're going to have our annual celebration here in 2 weeks, and we are going to have it as an ice cream bar/social. Bar, since Zane is here, and we already know what he does with showers, we better be careful about what it's a smorgasbord that's of ice cream. So we need someone to organize that, and I'm thinking that really it's basically if you're the organizer, you need to have someone purchase the actual foundation ice cream, and hey, it's right there. And then secondly, enlist everybody to bring some little topping or syrup or whatever we want to put on the ice cream. I already have bowls and spoons because of last week's Yelper extravaganza. I bought extra bowls and spoons, and that's on the club anyway. So we just have to get the edible part going. And again, I told you last week, I'm not going to say that the women do it and the men eat it. So we can accept men organizing this as well.
Do you have corn-based plastic for the?
It's blue. They are blue bowls, and they were the best price.
I just had to ask.
Yeah, I didn't. I was in a hurry. I was grabbing the bowls with the best price. They were good bowls, weren't they? And you know?
Yeah.
All right. So we need ice cream.
You know, basic, you're not eating the bowl.
Yeah, I can. But there is such, I mean,
Ice cream
it goes
is
in
in
the
the bowl.
landfill and then anyways.
I know, well, okay,
So is there a credit card, like a Toastmasters credit card?
I think you're getting into the details like
Wait,
you
when
are
is this? When is this meeting again? Next Tuesday?
2 weeks, 2 weeks.
What's the date?
The 28th,
28th.
the 28th.
That date
This is leadership in action, people, this is what happens, so you're seeing
I
it.
feel like that date is,
I would love to be the organizer if I was gonna be here.
yeah.
If anybody's feeling shy about
I can
how
do
to
it, I can
organize
do it.
I could be a
I can do it, but I'm
cheerleader until I go.
Sign me up right now.
Okay, I mean, you could,
I
okay,
think the 28th has some, I have to look at my calendar.
okay, I'm seeing Will too, Will's hands.
Actually, I wanted to nominate, since Prana has such enthusiasm here, I want to nominate Prana to.
Yeah, I'll do it.
To get the bowls, the utensils, whatever needs to happen.
Well, I've got those.
I appreciate your generous offer, Jean, but it seems like there's a man here who really wants to step up here and extend his.
Yes.
Okay.
See, but no, I can.
I have bowls and spoons, so don't get that.
Are we meeting at
Here.
right here?
Right here, same time, I
I
think
just
we
remember
could,
We're gonna put the ice cream out over there.
Yeah, I remember the last time the party was out in some like boondocks. And
yeah, but we often would have our party away because our previous meeting place was in the church.
Right,
And the church didn't want us to have food in there.
right.
That's a
We could
little
do-
bit of a challenge to have a,
Yeah, I'll
Ice cream
I'll
thing
buy
with
the
no
ice
food.
cream and set it out and make it look nice.
well, okay, Will, I think since you nominated, you're showing a little bit of interest.
Lay it on me.
Okay,
So I think,
Raven volunteered to
Yes.
assist Prana in organizing.
I think a little bit of
I'll
a
use
committee, a committee here. So, all right, I'm just talking here.
I'll be the
Prana
president.
is the chairman,
You know, what do you need?
and Raven and Will are involved. You guys, I like it having more brains, it's better than, how many brains do you have? One?
More brains.
More brains.
Many
than
hands
just
make
one.
light work.
Yes, that's it, many heads make light work. I like that idea. Okay, so can you guys get together, think about it? I mean, really, basically, we just wanna make sure we don't have 15 bottles of chocolate syrup. We need to have some variety, and we had a great ice cream bar at the Yelper thing, and those guys are 8th grade and under, so if they can do it, we can do it. They had a great thing, they had ice cream, they had somebody brought the scoops, think, and then the Reese's and the Oreo cookies and the syrups, and it was good.
Yeah, bananas.
Right, now in terms of the ice cream, let's not get too fussy with, we don't need to get all Haagen-Dazs or Ben & Jerry's or anything like that because, the club is paying for the ice cream part. So,
Would you mind being our creative consultant, Jean?
I feel like I just went through an ice cream event in the last 7 days. I mean, not at all.
I'll be out of town.
You're out of town that week. Maybe we should get a healing in on it. He's not even a member.
What time is the meeting? Is it regular time or is it?
Well, what do we want? Do we want to do, start the usual time? No, I think 7:45 is, maybe 7:30, just 7:30.
Are we having speeches or just
We'll do something.
something? Last time there was the same storytelling kind of deal where it's like a round robin.
Yeah, we had a fun table topics. We
Yeah.
also induct
That was exciting.
our officers.
Right.
We deduct the old ones, as Rick said, and then we induct the new ones. And we'll
Yeah, that was
also
a-
probably
that was a
like
good
to do I'm getting a time management notification here. That we also could induct some of the new members that we've had that we haven't done. We haven't put you through a ceremony, have we, Maya? Or Fang? We didn't do our induction ceremony for you guys, so we need to do that. Who's our chair? Okay,
Yeah, I'm not yet, but I will be on the 28th.
we'll get you through it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay,
Where-
and if
tell
you're
the
not a
truth.
member yet,
Tell the truth.
cha-ching, cha-ching. If you're a member by then, you can come to the party, ice cream. I mean, it's not the bathroom, it's not the shower with the ice and everything, but it's ice cream. fact, we do need 2 more members, guys, for our coming down the home path. You know, we are 2 members short of where we need to be for our President's Distinguished. So they have to be on the books by June 30th. Yeah. No, this is serious. I mean, so you guys, you members don't feel any pressure. I mean, you guests don't feel any pressure. But we could certainly, you know, if you want to join this month as opposed to next month, that could be helpful. All right. And if you have any questions, seriously, please feel free to talk to me, since our Vice President membership won't be back till next week, having had grandkids. Well, Emery didn't have the grandkids, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, all right. Is there anything else, officers, anyone else? Okay, good. All right, where's the hammer? Jeez, thank you. Okay, please stay, members. Let's put things together. Thank you, guests. Please come again. Have a good week.